to Wrestling with Things. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Do not forget to hit the like button, share this content out on your social media, and do not forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things. David, your host per usual, and I'm very excited to be able to chop it up and pick the brain with our special guest of the evening. I really appreciate his time. You could subscribe to his YouTube channel, The Deadbeat Dad. He got a lot of great, thought-provoking content out there. I really recommend his content, and
Thank you.
really think being able to talk to him, and I really hope that a lot of men, especially, could get some value from this conversation. So, thank you for coming on the show. Welcome, Deadbeat Dad.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, that's the new name, Deadbeat Dad. It was the poor black man initially, but I had to switched it up because somebody had a similar name. But thank you for having me, brother, and I appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the kind words.
No problem. So, to start off with, for somebody that might be, tuning in, that might be seeing you for the first time, can you give a quick summary about who you are and what your content is?
Yeah, so I am just a regular guy, work a regular job, a dad, a co-parenting dad, really big on fatherhood, and I preach frugality uh, in pursuit of financial independence and freedom. Uh, I came to YouTube to talk about that and the realities of money versus what the influencers are portraying and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the midst of that, I stumbled across the Manosphere, and most notably, the most popular person in the Black Manosphere is Kevin Samuels and a few other characters, and then I kind of fell down that rabbit hole uh, with a little bit of fire because I didn't really appreciate the way women were being attacked, in my opinion. So I'm currently transitioning back to more, advice and finance related content. But I'm also still going to be poking that fun at people and still and just talking about things that I want to talk about. I don't want YouTube to feel like a job because I already have one. And so for that reason, people will tell us to, monetize our hobbies and try to get paid for things that we're good at. And I don't necessarily, I understand how YouTube works. Um, I do feel like if I put in some time, I could put out some really good content. But I'm really just here to be myself and give the perspective of a 37-year-old, father from the West Coast, and my content is also a lot of my content is research based. So I want people to challenge me respectfully. I want people to fact check me. I want people to disagree with me, so we all can learn. Unfortunately, a lot of my videos that bring some of my videos bring the worst out of people, especially if you're going at somebody that they look up to. So it does get a little disrespectful at times, but I'm always down for a healthy, respectful debate. It's all good to disagree. So that's pretty much the gist of my channel. Just being an honest guy, telling the truth, my truth as I see it.
Man, that was great. Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, all of that was so thought provoking and informative. And to be honest, just your first real statement right there. And I feel like I learned a lot, and I could feel the authenticity from you. I could feel that you're just being you. You're just being a guy. But I want to go back to frugality. It's funny you bring up that word because I've always considered myself a frugal person, and I think when the average person hears that, they think you're cheap. You don't like to be generous. You don't like to do nice things. When that's not the case at all.
Not at all. Not at
Not at
all.
all. I think I mostly get it from my dad because my dad is has always been very frugal, and
Hmm.
we were not rich by any means necessary, but we always got by. And my dad always found a way to just pop up with things some way,
Hmm.
somehow, by finding a cost effective method to get it. Like, I kid you not, like, me starting on YouTube initially, I didn't have my own laptop to do my own edits. And like,
Uh-huh.
I was using my brother's girlfriend at the time's laptop to do edits. Like, yo, let me borrow your laptop. I wanted to start. You know how it is when you're starting with content. You got to just start. You can't be
Yeah.
perfect. So I was like, yo, I need to start somewhere. So let me use her laptop and start with those edits. And he's seen me for a few weeks, like seeing that I had to go through the trouble of borrowing her laptop. And lo and behold, out of the blue, like a week later, he popped up with a laptop. It
Nice.
wasn't no Mac, but shit, it was mine, and I
Yeah.
had something to get started more consistently. And I'm like, yo, damn, this dude always finds a way to come through, and that saved me the trouble to have to save for a laptop. But I like the fact that you preach frugality. And why do you think that is, that when people hear that word, they think it means cheap?
I think because they believe that I am, I'm penny pinching and I'm,
Yeah.
restricting, myself, or I'm not allowing myself to enjoy um, money. I think that there needs to be a healthy balance. Like I'm not working for my health, after all these years in college, if I want to eat a steak, I'm going to eat a steak. And so I think people, when they hear the word frugality, it just, people are, it's not sexy, balling or making it rain. It sounds so much cooler. Or, uh, what is the phrase these days? High value, luxury, you know, we are, this generation. Well, I'm technically a millennial. Um, I'm not sure how old you are, but
26.
in the okay, so in this Instagram world,
Mhm.
um, frugality is not going to get you that many likes. It's not pretty, but my thing is, for me, frugal means I'm looking for quality. I'm looking for a good price.
Mhm.
I'm looking for something that I can, you know what I mean? When I'm spending my money, I don't want to buy anything more than I want to buy it once. You know what I mean? Let me get a backpack that's going to last me for many years.
Mhm.
I'm not out here trying to stay with the latest and the greatest. And then also there is living below your means, which
Yeah, I'm big on
the
that.
number one way that most millionaires are very modest people who worked regular jobs, teachers, truck drivers, UPS, you name it. The vast majority are just people in their in their fifties and sixties who just worked regular jobs and live below their means. And so being frugal, it's it's just, I just feel like people saving money. Uh, I think part of the problem is most of us in the United States, I only know about the United States, are usually check to check. It was 79%, pre-COVID, 80%. And so people can't fathom, for a number of reasons, um, holding on to money when they could spend it. Some people are on the you only live once, YOLO. as opposed to how can I get everything that I want out of life without it costing me an arm and a leg? And and so I drive a Tesla. Um, what a lot of people don't realize is it is a luxury car, but the cost of ownership is it's a very cheap car to own. I got the cheapest of the cheapest, and I actually bought it before a business investment. But it wasn't the $100,000 Tesla, right? It was there's a platform called Turo, Turo, Turo.com. It's like you familiar with Airbnb?
Yes.
It's the Airbnb for cars. So if you have a car, you can put it on Turo, Turo.com and rent it out.
Oh,
and all that Teslas were renting for $130 a day. And I'm in the Bay Area, Northern California, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And so I looked online, and there were people who were basically buying cars, renting them on Turo so that it would pay for them. It would pay for itself. And they're like, yeah, I got a free car. I rent it out a couple weekends a month, but it's free. I'm not paying my note. And so I'm like, well, I can make money off this car. Let me go ahead and get one of these so I can, make profit. I didn't really care about driving it because I'm when it comes to vehicles, I'm about getting to and from where I need to go in the most efficient way possible. I had a Range Rover, had a Corvette, but now it's like I just need to get to where I'm getting to, and I need it to be safe, and I need it to be good on gas. I have no desire to be the flashy person with the fastest car. I've been there, and so going back to the Tesla. When you calculate the cost of fuel, electricity, I have solar panels on my home, and then they gave you $7,500 federal government tax credit, and then the state of California gave me $2,800 for getting a fuel efficient vehicle. So it's like I damn near got 10 G's back just for buying an electric car, and I'm not paying for gas because I got the solar panels. But when most people wouldn't think of a Tesla owner as a frugal person.
Yeah.
But my sole intent was to make money off the car, and it just happened to be get all of these incentives. I didn't pursue that business because it was too much work, dealing with people, washing the car, and I said it's another job. I thought it was going to be passive. So and then my market, I just didn't. Most people, the people who I wanted to serve, they were looking for cheap rental cars. They weren't looking to spend that much money. So, but that's just one example of a way to be frugal. But it just doesn't. Most people wouldn't think of it as being frugal because the perception is that this is luxury, this is expensive, when it's actually really pretty cheap.
Yeah, people probably see your car and like, oh, he got it like that, and he's rich and whatever. But
I actually ride a bicycle most days. Like
oh wow,
bicycle, and
dope.
I ride a bike, and I take the train to work. So if I'm not picking up my son or I got errands to run, I'll all the way to work. If I'm 7 miles away from my house, or if I'm running late, if I don't feel like riding the whole way, I'll just ride to the train station. 5-minute ride, hop off. I'm on my bike, man. Like I'm about that bicycle life.
That's dope. That explains why some of your content you're on a bike a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So if I'm riding with my son, I'm on my little BMX. When I got a road bike when I'm on my way to work. Yeah, ride that bike.
That's dope. But uh, I definitely want to transition into the manosphere more and some other things. I definitely
Let's
want to
get
get
it.
into that with you. But I do want to say this with frugality, this last thing. Basically, everything you just mentioned about your journey and your story to even getting the Tesla, in the first place uh and it wasn't the most expensive brand is great because having a Tesla, period, it doesn't matter what you spent for it. The fact that you have one, I just think that's awesome in and of itself. And I just think it goes with clothes as well. Like, there's so many, outfits that I'm not ashamed to say I've got it at thrift stores. And I'll
Yeah,
walk in and people, I kid you not, almost everywhere you go to the store, grocery store, you'll be like, they're like, oh, I like that shirt. I like those jeans. And, I got it at the thrift store. I got it probably all for like $30. And
yeah.
I
If
think
you
people get it so twisted that the higher the price, the better you look. That is
right.
such a false
No,
narrative.
you can't buy style. You can't buy
You can.
like
That's
like
broke.
a lot of these rappers are walking around with these designer moon shoes.
Mhm.
I'm just like, what the hell is that? But it's designer, so I guess they find it cool. But yeah, I shop at Costco. I buy my clothes from everything I got on right now. Some
Yeah.
shirts and
That's what's
sweats.
up.
I'm a Costco man. They got the best return policy. Come
I like that. I like that. But now let's get into the manosphere. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
on, man.
It's
Come
a
on.
very polarizing topic, but I will be completely honest with you. And I like that you said you like respectful disagreement because I think that's what's gonna, help us get along even better. Because I
Absolutely.
do too. That's why
Absolutely.
I love being able to do things like this because you learn another perspective,
And
even if you
before
may
you go there,
disagree.
sorry to cut you off. I just want to say when we talk about, manhood, I think proper communication could eliminate a lot of the conflicts. It could eliminate a lot of, unnecessary deaths. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Communication is such a manly thing.
Real talk. Real
Communicate
talk.
effectively. So,
The problem is not every man unfortunately feels that way or
mhm,
is mature enough to apply that or want to apply that. But that is
mhm.
so damn true, especially as you get older, yo. But the manosphere, I'm kind of like you, I'd say for the last like 6 months or so, I've been down that rabbit hole. And I'm not gonna lie, there's so many of them. They do good stuff. They're good at what they do, in my opinion. But I this is just me. I I'm entertained. I do feel like I'm entertained and I'm informed, and I do get thought provoking material. If I was to just put a general percentage on most of the manosphere's material, I would say they're right about 70% of the time. And I feel like 30% of the time is a little bit exaggeration for entertainment. I want to start there. I listen to pretty much all of Kevin Samuels, Alpha Male Strategies, Fresh and Fit Podcast. Are those the ones you've heard? I'm sure.
I'm familiar with all those. I have my feelings about all those guys, but we're gonna
So,
talk. We're
so,
gonna
so,
talk.
so I say they're right 70% of the time because I actually believe that nobody's right 100% of the time. Like, well, no matter who you are as a content creator. But tell me what your general view is of the manosphere and what you mostly disagree with. We can start there.
Well, I'll say this. When I stumbled across the manosphere,
Mhm.
the alpha male strategies, and I'm just literally every other day I'm like, damn, it's another guy, it's another guy. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
AMS, and I'm like, and so what I did, I was listening. Um, the first person that I actually listened to, and I gave him an hour or two of my time,
Mhm.
excuse me, was a gentleman named Angry Man.
I never watched him. I'm gonna be honest.
And I was listening to him talk, and I was enjoying it.
Mhm.
And he was basically saying that, and in this video, he was basically saying the manosphere space has taken a turn for, he said what he said. He didn't, I don't want to, I'm not going to misquote him. But what he was saying is that this is not about being high value and looking good for women. And he was basically talking about Kevin Samuels without, without dissing him, but he was saying that's not what this space is about. And I'm listening and I'm like, because I feel like if there was a space where men can have conversations, honest conversations, I don't want it to be about what we can do to get more women. You know what I mean? I want it to be, this is just my personal opinion about self-development, accountability as men, not accountability from women. You know what I mean? Just controlling what we can control, controlling our behavior. And so when I began to hear the arguments about single mothers and hypergamy and women wanting to, to rate men, but they don't want to be rated by men. And I feel like once you start telling people that you're fat and nobody wants you, and you have a child, and you're undesirable, they're not. I'm not a fan of shaming people, but I also understand. I understand, and I don't like it, but I understand if somebody is trying to build a business, a platform, and this is their audience, they are going to do and say what their audience, responds to.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of negative comments about just Black women in general. And, in my life experience, I've dealt with, women from a wide range of, ethnic groups and trash women of all shapes and sizes and colors and demographics. Like, you know what I mean? There's just, it is what it is. I've dealt with some women that ain't, they're just not somebody that I would want to deal with again. And I have dealt with some phenomenal women that were just amazing. And so to listen to, and I'm talking about the Black Manosphere. When you look at the screen, when you look at the thumbnails and you see that everything is about, 90%, 92%, something about a Black woman talking crazy, or saying something that doesn't make any sense. I'm just like, what is this? What is the spirit behind these messages? Is it that this one person, is it that the host has personal feelings about this certain demographic, Black women, and they are letting that bleed through in their content? Or is it that they generally feel like that they're objective, but this population of women continue to prove them right by the things that they say and do? And I'm listening to this, and I'm a numbers guy, right? I think there's over 20 million Black women in the United States. And so I like to know, like, what is your assessment based on? Is it based on things that go viral, or is it based on life experience? Because everybody's experience is valid. Your lived experience is your lived experience. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, all of, Black women do this. You know what I mean? I can't I like to have data-driven conversations whenever we can. Whenever we can report back the data, I like to do that. So before I I did address some of the content that I saw because I just thought it was misogynist. And but then when people say, well, what about the talking points? I went and did the research. And so I feel like a lot of these talking points are historically traditional, right wing talking points: no father in the home, single mom, welfare queen attitude. You want to date men that go to jail, and and I think that when you're not having conversations with somebody who's actually done the research, it's easy to get on your platform and make people look stupid, right? So when they say only, 1 out of 4 Black women are married, I looked at the research and I said, well, wait a minute. It includes women that are age 15, right? So, and there was a professor who looked at the research as well. He said, well, most Black women get married by the age of 35. So if you're including women that are 15 years of age who nobody expects to be married, and then Black women get married, in their mid 30s, it would appear that nobody is getting married just based on, without context. The raw numbers don't really tell you why it is what it is. And so I'm listening and I'm like, you know what? Somebody needs to get on these platforms and tell the whole story, rather than just spitting out random numbers. Tell the whole story, give some context, and then so that's one part of it, right? The talking points that most of these guys have, and then a lot of it is aimed at Black women. And then there's also, for me, what they're selling to their subscribers. I, somebody who wants to buy a alpha male life skill coaching course, and I'm like, I don't want to hate on nobody's business.
Of course not.
But I do feel like if I am going to tell you how to do something, I need to be doing it myself or have done it. And in this alpha male world, manosphere, if character is never discussed, if it's always
I was gonna go there, but damn, you already go ahead. Go ahead, Jen.
if it's only about money and how many women you can sleep with, and nobody brings up character, honor, I have a problem with that. And so when I started to look at the character of some of these people, I got, you know what I mean, the comments, you know what I mean. They called me a simp. They called me a hater. I'm like, man, this is fair. This is fair play. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you, because that's why I wanted to, I'm sure I still want to hear more if you got more to say on it, but
No, I do.
add to it that one of the things, and I'll admit it, I've been watching them pretty regularly for the entertainment, if nothing else. But personally, I feel like there's little talking points, like little examples where they might, give a scenario about, if a man hasn't done X, Y, and Z with his life, or X, Y, and Z, then a woman will treat you like X, Y, and Z. Like there's examples like that I will be like, yo, I have experienced that, so there's truth to it. You know what I'm saying? Like if they say something and I'm like, yo, I really went through that, then I could be like, yeah, that's facts. That's facts. You know what I'm saying? Because I do get a lot of those. But I'm glad you brought up the character thing, because every time, you see the common theme that they're saying, this is my main disagreement with them, is that they like to peddle the phrase, 80% of women only want the top 20, top 10% of guys with income. And I'm like, yeah, and they basically imply you're not gonna get a woman you're attracted to and that you're really into unless you in that top 20, 10%. Because
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, I mean, if you're wealthy and you're in that top 20%, respect. But man, I be sitting here like, yo, I mean, not to brag. I'm not one to flaunt my relationship, but I'm with
Tell
a
the truth, man.
dope,
Tell it. Tell it.
I'm with a dope ass woman. And we click like this. And I'm not rich. I mean, I graduated college a few years ago. I'm doing okay for myself. I have a sense of financial intelligence and stability, but I know I got a long way to go. I'm a work in progress. I don't consider myself wealthy by any means, but I do know I got the ambition and I'm living it day after day in a way that I'm always leveling up. I'm always looking for what's next. But I do not like the fact that they never ever mention like you got to have a solid character. You got to be emotionally intelligent. You got to
Hmm.
know how to speak with the proper tone to a woman and know how to read the temperature of a room. You gotta be loyal, reliable,
Hmm.
smart. I do think while and you mentioned it, when your audience wants to hear a certain reaction or topic, you're gonna lean into it a little bit for entertainment. But
They're
I
making money.
I do think they would be a lot balanced if they talked about those things, because let's be honest, those are the things that are hardest to teach. Those internal qualities, you can't find them everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the fact that you got a dope girl
no,
and she's not with you for money.
not at all.
When I was in high school, I kid you not, I had like it was like top five at the high school,
Hmm.
and I was riding a bus. I didn't play sports. I didn't have no gold teeth. I wasn't, what I'm saying, one of them hot boys. I mean, I had a regular job, but I mean, um, she was bad. She still is to this day. Like,
Hmm.
whoa, she actually looked better now. Um, and she dumped me for a guy with a car, right?
Happens.
But I was with her, and then even after that, when I got into college, we hooked back up again. Like, we hooked up. We've been hooking up over the years. But there's something to be said about a respectful, kind, honest guy. It doesn't mean that you're soft. You know what I mean? Um, most people are just regular working class folks.
Yeah.
There's a segment of the population of these women who only want to be around the men who appear to have money or the men that have money. You know what I mean? That's where all that designer stuff comes in at, right?
Mhm.
I don't I don't date women who wear $5,000 purses. You know what I mean? That's just not I'm not I would be I'm not saying that she can't be attractive, but I'm like long term, like that's not my wife. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something, especially if they're going into debt to look like that. You know,
Mhm.
and worse, where I am in life. If I know that a woman is going out of her way to impress people that don't matter, I would ask her about it and probably distance myself because that's just not a recipe for success. You'll always be trying to keep up with the Joneses. So I'm glad you pointed that out about you having a dope woman because there's a lot of men who are getting the wrong message, and I think that I'm going to talk about this on my channel. We underutilize technology when we're looking for partners. And when I say underutilize, I'm in Oakland, California. You're in where you
Massachusetts.
was that?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, East Coast. My YouTube channel, I've connected with people, internationally, just off of posting videos, and some of the women trying to shoot their shot.
Mhm.
But my point is the likelihood of someone meeting somebody who's single and dope with the mutual attraction, at the right place at the right time in their area, it's like playing a lottery. And so what a lot of people, we underutilize technology, because here I am talking to you online, a man and a woman, this could have been a date with a woman, you know what I mean, who's in on the East Coast.
Mhm.
Getting to know her getting to know me. We have the technology available to date women, to engage with women who are not in our cities. And so it's like fishing. If you have a bigger net, the likelihood that you'll catch a better fish or more fish, it increases. And we have the technology to do it. So, if the woman in Oakland, if I'm not, hitting, catching somebody who I can vibe with in Oakland, well, why not just update my dating profile and start looking down in LA, Arizona, Washington? I'll even push it out to Texas. What do I have to lose, right? What's to lose? So I think that, a lot of frustrated men and women who are feeling like there's nobody out there. They don't understand that technology gives us the opportunity to meet people, anywhere. We just most people want some physical interaction. They want that face to face interaction, especially if you want to have sex, right? You want to. But that's one of the reasons why I believe, some people can't, seem to find somebody they click with. They're just underutilizing technology. The other thing I want to mention, is, when we talk about the Manosphere and the advice that they give. Sometimes when the things that I feel like some of their arguments are like water is wet, right? Um,
Give me
arguments,
an
right?
example.
Like, women are attracted to men with money, right?
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I mean, duh.
Yeah, that is
It's
obvious.
not. I mean,
You gotta have some type of financial component to you. That's a given. Yeah.
like money is not unattractive.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like if you took two identical twins, one of them was rich and the other one was not. Most people would go for the one with the money. I mean, that's a wide wet argument. You know what I mean? Duh. And so, Kevin Hart was interviewed some years ago. I can't find this interview because I want to reference it. But he said, when some people asked him, like, would his wife be with him if he wasn't who he is? And so he said, well, success is attractive. You know, I'm a successful man, so that makes. I mean, he basically said, um, my success makes it makes me look better. So he basically said he is absolutely okay with her factoring in his success when she decided to date him, because we all know that. I mean, I think Jay-Z said there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll tell you this. Um, there's some truth to that. But if you're a 50-year-old billionaire dating a 23-year-old model, she might dip out on you and go sleep with somebody her own age,
Hell yeah.
who's got some muscles, and somebody that who may not have the same money that you have, but that's just somebody that she's attracted. I mean, it's gonna get old if you're only.
Ain't gonna be a wife like that. Like,
Right, exactly.
insane.
If somebody is only with you for, I say a woman that can be bought is not worth having. It's just not. It's eventually it's going to fail. The money's going to get old, and it is what it is. So there are some water is wet arguments that they make that are true, and But it doesn't mean that women are the enemy. Like, don't trust them. They're only if somebody pulls up in a Bugatti, your girl's gonna leave you. Well, if that's what she's looking for, then yeah. But I don't date those type of women. You know what I mean? I'm not in the club in VIP. With these women who are trying to rub shoulders with the.
I've never liked the club. I've tried to like it, but I never liked the club. That's just me.
I used to DJ in clubs. I used to DJ in clubs fresh out of college. And one thing that I noticed is that when the athletes came in, they were dressed like they just came from practice, and the women would flock to them, trying to get to their VIP spots. Well, everybody else had to be in a dress code, and it made sense to me because everybody knows what NBA players make. If you're LeBron James, you're one of the highest paid players in the league. He doesn't have to wear a Rolex. He doesn't have to wear a chain. Everybody knows he's rich as fuck. It is what it is. But the random Joe Schmo, who is peacocking, as they call it, trying to show what he has, with his attire, he's got something to prove. And so I caught wind of the players coming in. I'm like, they don't have to impress anybody. They're celebrities. They got these contracts. And they get all of the love because people know what it is. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be the guy that's walking out here, that's out and about with some sweats and some flip-flops on, confident and not worrying about, having to be fly every time I step out the house. I mean, it's too much to worry about. When I came to you, I had COVID hair. Man, I hadn't had a haircut for it was going. I call myself the poor black man. So I'm like, people are going to talk about me. They're going to call me dusty. And they're going to be like, you can't afford a haircut. It was actually funny to me because, I don't care about these people. I don't have nothing to prove. But gradually, some people started to ask questions. And they were just like, what's up with this hair in this car? It doesn't match up. Why are you don't have a haircut? He has a bigger chance. That was the reason he subscribed, because he was like, something he's not telling us. Let me see what the hell he's talking about. To the women in the manosphere, if you're telling a certain way to get a certain, yes, that is true for the women who want that. Mm-hmm. I would say that most women in the middle, we're all average looking people working jobs who, if I was the fresh haircut, I would look fly as hell. But on my regular day to day, I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? And when we're honest about that, that you don't have to be this quote unquote alpha, that you don't have to be rich. When we get more honest about that, I think men outcomes and for the people who subscribe to that content, because it is for some, but for some people, they're getting trained. They're getting
it's gospel to some people.
Absolutely. I don't find Kevin Samuels entertaining. I don't watch him, but I have seen clips where I've chuckled.
Yeah. You gotta chuckle a little bit.
He said something about somebody looking like Emmitt Smith.
he got one-liners. Is there anything you agree with them about? Like, as a man, you hear another man say it and you're like, okay, I could see that. Is there anything you agree with Manosphere generally about?
I do agree on the I believe that women don't really want true equality. And I say that because Quality until that bill come for dinner. You know what I mean? Then it's you got to man up. The other side. If I'm courting you and I ask you out to dinner, I invite you to take care of that. To a birthday party, I'm not going to show you to get a plate of bar. Invite them over. So if I invite a woman out, you know what I mean? I invited her. Let me take you to dinner. But some women, that it's a man's job, and it's not. It's only with you because of what you can do for her. Then you don't need to be with that woman. And there's this idea that a lot of women are like that. Women are like that, but women aren't like that. I do. So there are to that. That quality. They double standards. There are a lot of double standards, and it sounds really bad when men flip the script. It sounds bad when if a woman is laughing at a man because he has a small penis, then why is it not okay for a man to laugh at a woman because she, I don't know. I don't think the weight argument is the same. But I'll say height.
Like she got no butt, or she's too tall, like she's 6 feet. I don't know.
No. I'll say some women will talk about he needs to be 6 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and there may be a man that claps back and say, "Well, your ass is flat." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so I think that here's the thing. I think people should be intentional and specific when they're talking about their issues with women. Because when you there's a woman that didn't do anything to you. There's a woman over here that hasn't done anything to you. She hasn't hurt you. You don't even know her. But if you're going to treat her a certain way based on what this other woman did to you, let's say you got divorced. Let's say, you're on child support and you're feeling some type of way. You can't treat every woman like they're out to get you or they're just evil, because there are some evil women out there. And I think that there are some truths, but these are, very situational. Like when somebody tells me about a bad experience with a woman, I want to know what happened. Tell us exactly what happened and address her. Because the young men that are being, conditioned by the Manosphere, these are the men that they're going to be interacting and pursuing the young women who are also being conditioned by some women who say things about men that I definitely disagree with. There's extremes on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Saying that all black men are trash, and black men that are saying all black women are trash. And I don't agree with either side on the extreme, but I can definitely say that if a man has had a horrible experience, and that's his lived experience, he has every right to feel the way that he wants to feel. The same way if a woman has been, assaulted or, cheated on, she has every right to feel the way that she wants to feel. So I don't want to police anybody's feelings, but I just want people to be respectful. And I just don't agree with the broad generalizations, but I do agree with the instances where men are mistreated. So that's what I'm saying is, if it happened to you and it hurt you and it pushed you to feel a certain way, I'm with you. I respect it. I hope you can get past it. But what I'm not okay with is young man. I have a young man who subscribes to my channel.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like 19 or something like that. I probably would have blocked him a long time ago, but because he's young, man, he's gonna learn about me, and I on the channels. But I'm like, damn. But I think these factual events that men have experienced, if a young experience this, and he's going into relationships thinking that happened, and this, I disagree. The older gentleman telling young men that a woman is going this and this and this and this to you and be prepared for it. This is what women do. So I'm saying that your experience is valid and it's happening, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen to this young man, you know.
Yeah,
and so to help this person avoid that, you know, look for the signs, look for the red flags. But if you're saying this is what women do, this is how they are, so sleep with because they all trash. Where I come in at, because I'm like, truth, you know. I'm trying to answer you. I'm trying to be with the answer. I don't necessarily dis with the methods, the generalizations, but I'm not disagreeing that there are some very, very foul women out there who are just trying to, you know, kick you to the curb and you know, kick you to the curb for somebody with more resources out there like that. But because here's the thing, most men don't. If at the top tier, then God, then nobody would talk to us. You know,
literally.
I would be buying prostitutes and mad because if that's all they wanted, if that's all they right, if that's all they want, then I mean I've had a great
yeah, I feel you, bro. I've lived.
I never had a problem with women ever.
Yeah.
When I went to college, it was a 7-3 ratio. 3 men, and I lived on. Ooh, man, good time. So yeah, question.
No, that was great. That definitely answers my question. It's funny because they're so polarizing because the methods, like you say, at times, you know, it's like at times you could tell it's like I don't want to sound like I'm bashing no one's content because that's really not my style. But sometimes you could tell it's like you bought on that specific type of girl to confirm what your audience was looking to see. Like, of course, these OnlyFans girls and these models, they're not looking for guys like you and me that have character, that do regular things. Of course, they're looking to be users and you know, like it's like that's a given, but there is there
gonna bring up a woman with
that. Go ahead. No, what was that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I do agree with kind of piggybacking what you said that what they kind of insinuate to look out for, they could word it better than making it seem like, oh, this is you're doomed for this no matter what, no matter who you are. I do think they mean well and they mean to warn people, not say you're doomed. But I think generally they just, trying to, give the harsh reality to guys, because some guys aren't naive. I think that's one of the main reasons why they do it that way.
So when I think about I a lot of it, recently has been to look into the character and the backgrounds of these guys who are and try to figure out, the motivation behind the content, which and I would say money and the way they feel about I think they call it confirmation bias, when they're looking for something that can prove as looking to be proven wrong. And so not somebody, a woman with a PhD, in women's studies who can, who can throw it back, and bring up, they know who to bring on. They know who to bring on. And so I think what needs to happen, well, I'm not going to needs to happen, but I believe that I feel like I am probably more red pill than these guys are red pill.
Really? Really?
And when I say that,
how do you say that?
I looked up the red pill, the theory, right? Mm-hmm. Which means, from what I understand, and they basically ran with, that scene from The Matrix, where if you take the blue pill, everything stays the same. But if you take the red pill, then you'll see the world for what it really is and what's really going on. And so my thing is, well, if this is the red pill and it's supposed to be raw and uncut, the truth, the whole truth, the ugly truth, the uncomfortable truth, if that's what the red pill is, you know what I mean, to get out of the matrix and understand what the hell is really going on in this world, then if I dig up and find out that Kevin Samuels is nothing more than a salesman, that is supposed to be that pill. You know what I mean? Now, if he's selling something that you're buying, okay. But if he's nothing more than a salesman who has challenges, financial challenges, as we all have had, but all through his adulthood, and you can't verify any of the things that he said about corporate America, that should be the hard pill to swallow, right? But people don't want to swallow it. And even when it comes to money, if I'm up here, saying, hey, influencer marketing, the most successful influencer marketers, they are the Grant Cardones. You know who that is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Grant Cardone, he's a real estate guy, white guy. The Ty Lopez, you familiar with him?
Not too much.
These are influencers who sell products. But I mean, there's some rich guys, mm-hmm. but their marketing tactics is their lifestyle, their Lamborghinis, their mansions, and so they use those things to get people to buy in, and they actually have them, right? They're not rented; like, these people are verified, but they were able to leverage their lifestyle to say, "Hey, if you want to be like me, sign up for this course, or click right here, or come to my seminar." None of these guys in the Manosphere are doing that. You know why? Because they ain't got it. If the guys on Fresh and Fit, mm-hmm. if they were living in a mansion and driving Lambos and stuff, you know what I mean? Oh, trust and believe. we would know. Because they're all about, you know, let me teach you how to get these girls. Let me show you how to do it. It would only make their followers more impressed if they were to show these superficial indicators of success. And I noticed that none of the men in the manosphere are doing this. You don't see you just don't see them showing off their quote unquote success in the way that other people do. Um, because they ain't got it. They don't have it like that. You know, they're trying to get there. I guarantee.
What about Mr. Organic? He's kind of a flosser. You heard of him?
You know who? What's his name?
The cars and the estate in
Well,
Malibu.
you know, Omi and the Hellcat. You know what that is?
No, I'm not familiar. Is he in the Manosphere?
No, Omi and the Hellcat. He is a car guy. So, Mr. Organic, I'm familiar with him because of Tall Guy Car Reviews. You from? You know?
Yeah, tall guy. I know him. Yeah.
So Tall Guy and Organic, I follow them. And Organic, I used to pay attention to his content because he's just a funny guy.
Really funny.
But Omi and the Hellcat was a guy who he was the guy with the money. His house got raided by the FBI, and he actually did some content with them. And he basically, you know, he didn't call them out by name, but he basically said the YouTube money is not lucrative enough for him to keep buying cars, because he said, I invested $1 million in my YouTube channel and I maybe made back 100K. Now, mind you, he has more subs than Organic, right? He's more well known than Organic. And this guy, you know, mansions, and you know, he does like some streaming services. He does streaming. But he basically talked about, he said, I'm not about to go spend $1 million on cars anymore to show you guys what I can buy. I'll just sit here in front of this camera and talk to you because there's not a good return on my investment. And he says a lot of these car guys, they're trying to they have to continue to spend money to keep up with this this lifestyle that they're promoting. And so when it comes to Mr. Organic, there are videos on him. I can't sit here and say, if he is legit, but I know Tall Guy Car Reviews has a bigger following. And if we're just talking ad revenue, Mr. Organic he's not killing it on YouTube like that. And if he's selling t-shirts, I don't really keep up with him like that. So maybe
I don't follow his content hardcore, but I've seen him on shows.
They call him the YouTube car community is saying that, you know, don't believe the hype. And so the other piece about that is when we talk about content creators, if you're taking this seriously and you're creating content, you can rent a mansion and some cars for several days and shoot enough content to last, you know, months. You know, you can Airbnb it. I mean, it's really easy. I could rent a car right now and go rent an Airbnb and just shoot in there, and you would never know. So it's very easy to appear to have, you know, more than you do. I'm not saying that he doesn't live there. I'm just saying that it would be easy to pull it off if he doesn't live there. It's easy to pull it off and make it appear that he does. But people are, you know, there's some videos online of people calling him out, and he just doesn't have the big following like that. Unless he's selling some other stuff, who knows? But Mr. Organic, funny guy, you know.
He is.
He also put out a video about him not dating black women. I'm like, oh man, come on. The video was why I only date white women. So That was the video.
I disagree with that big time.
His platform, his preference. I'm not policing what anybody wants to do with their people. But my thing is, did you really have to put that video out? Right. I mean, whatever. It's his platform. He can do what he wants to do. You know, it was why I only date white women. You can look it up.
Good stuff. But man, I see that we're at a little bit over an hour, and I do want to be, of course, respectful for your time. I could go another hour. This is great. But
oh man,
I really want to get into this because for especially for the men, for those men out there that feel like they may be not where they're supposed to be in life, or they know they're a work in progress and they're still finding their purpose and their passions and their career direction and whatnot. What are some like general life and or relationship and networking tips that you would give to these young men out here?
Thank you. That's a great question. Life is a marathon, and believe it or not, I'm 37, but 40 is young. I think Jay-Z just hit 50 or something like that, So these guys are still living life and enjoying it. And the younger generation, there's a lot of instant gratification with the younger folks. They want it, and they want it now. And to tell somebody that, hey, I understand that you're 20, but if you do this, and this, then by the time you reach 40, you'll be here. Nobody wants to hear that, right? We got people are going viral. People are getting rich off of cryptocurrency. Some people, and I understand that it's almost like going to medical school. There's a delayed gratification that, you have to sacrifice all of your 20s. If you go right out of, high school, all of your 20s studying. And so that when you hit your late 20s, mid to late 20s, now you're a physician, and you may have all these loans and stuff. But I want the young people to know that, life is a marathon. You have to really sit down and ask yourself, what do you want out of life? And I'll say that money is not a good motivator, because if money was a good motivator, we would all be rich. I would love to be a billionaire, I would love to be a multi-millionaire. And most people aren't. And we would all love to be, but money is not a good motivator. I mean, it just isn't. It just isn't. Nobody is. If I told somebody, anesthesiologists make $400K, around $400K a year. But nobody's, most people don't want to put in the work to be an anesthesiologist and go to medical school like that. They were motivated by money, they would. You know what I mean? If money was the motivator, you would put yourself in a career path that will pay you the most money. And a lot of us don't do that because we just don't want it that bad. It's just a horrible motivator. But good athletes, they're good athletes because they love what they do, right? There's not a 5-year-old or 10-year-old that is saying, man, I'm going to play basketball so I can be rich. They play it because it's fun. They play it because they enjoy it. They're good at it. And then, hopefully one day, they may make it to the NBA. But money is not a great motivator. So I'm going to tell the young people to really think about what you enjoy and think about the life that you want to live, and find something that aligns with that. If you're trying to, everybody wants to be, financially stable, financially free. But everybody's path is going to be different. And I want to tell the young people, become an expert at something, become an expert at something. I don't care if it's video editing, I don't care if it's handiwork, if you're a programmer, if you're an X-ray technician, whatever it is, when you become an expert at that and it's something of value, then you'll always be paid, no matter where you go. And also utilize technology, right? Utilize technology. Binge watch the channels that not only that it's not just about entertainment. Um, I did a video where I just showed people a solar panel project that I did on my house. I don't know if you saw it, but
No, I didn't see that.
somebody tried to call me out and said I was lying. But what I realized is I just binge watched. I binge watched YouTube videos on DIY solar. That's all I did. I
Mhm.
like maybe I don't know, 10 hours watching other people get on their roofs and install solar panels, and then I went. I did it myself, but um, I had to literally force myself to watch this stuff so that I could save 15 grand and pick up a new skill. So while we have the opportunity in platforms like YouTube, it can't just be 3 hours of Kevin Samuels. You know what I mean? You have to be looking at the content that's going to not get you laid, but the content that's going to enrich your life
Mhm.
to where you want to be. But be 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 very aware that you might reach your late 30s and not be where you want to be, which is absolutely fine because life is a marathon. You familiar with Gary Vee?
Yeah, I love him. Love him.
Gary Vee, I love Gary Vee. He talks about that a lot. He's like, fail, move, go home, stay with your family. Save money. Like it's okay. It's a marathon. What do you have to lose? I want to encourage people to move. Right. If you don't have any children, if you don't have anything holding you back, um, try another state. You
Mhm.
know, um, like it is that's the perfect time when you're young to go out there and make mistakes and take risk. And so part of me being frugal and living below my means, it gives me the ability to take more risk because one of my rental units, just that rental unit itself pays for more than my mortgage. But I'm only able to pull that off because I bought a modest house. I bought the house that nobody wanted. I bought a small house. Now I don't even need my job to pay my mortgage, right? One of my rental units pays me. And so that allows me to be able to take more risk. That allows me to say, you know what? I could leave my job if I wanted to and try something else. You know what? Let me invest in some camera equipment. Let me try something out. Let me try all these different things because I'm not worried about my next meal. I'm not worried about, my bills because I've been able to, create other streams of income. But when you're out here trying to floss and buy these expensive things, it puts you in a position where you can't take many risks because you might fall flat on your face. So I say live below your means, take risk, move, stay at home, stack your money. There are more than enough women out there for everybody. I'm telling you. Utilize technology to network with people. Like you reached out to me, right? You sent me an email, and here we are. All right. I've had quite a few people reached out to me, and I'm not even. I don't. Nobody knows me, right? I'm not a, a household name. Nobody knows me. I've definitely ruffled some feathers in the manosphere. They know me, but in the grand scheme of things, that technology this is a great time to be alive. It's a really great time to be alive. And I did not have the tools that you guys have or that I have now, that we all have now when I was your age and younger. So, as it relates to entrepreneurship, as it relates to career, as it relates to women, as it relates to investing, there was no Robin Hood when I was, in college. It wasn't no Reddit. You know what I mean? Um, Not to complain, just saying I wish I had those things because life is good. But I really want to encourage young people to um, to take their time and be patient, and also um, be mindful of the content creators the content that you're ingesting because because diet is not only what you eat, right? It's what you listen to, it's what you read. And if you have a diet that's filled with junk food, and I'll say this, my Manosphere videos are informative because I provide a different perspective, but in the grand scheme of things, that content, it's not advertiser friendly. It's not the best kind. Like the Manosphere is like the YouTube swamp, right? The suburbs would be what's his name? The tech reviewer, Marquez Brownlee.
Never heard of him.
You never heard of Marquez Brownlee?
No, I don't. I
The
don't.
black guy. He's like the biggest tech reviewer on YouTube. Marquez Brownlee. He's got like 11 million subs.
If I saw him by chance, maybe I would have to see it.
He's got like he's a little fade. He's always reviewing iPhones. But like there's the suburbs of YouTube and then there's a slum. Mix up that content because if you're all, I think the Manosphere, it's like the swamp. You know what I mean? Where the videos, you're not gonna make a lot of money on those videos. But the finance, the self-improvement, that's the area where you really have a bigger impact. It's more advertiser friendly, and yeah, I just want to encourage the young folks to mix up the content. Mix it up. If you really love Manosphere stuff, throw some Gary Vee in there. You know what I mean? Throw some Gary Vee up in there.
That counts. Those positive, entrepreneurs and figures, they go a long way in helping men improve. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you're saying self-improvement and like mentioning that because you had a roommates podcast.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
I think they dabble in red pill, but I don't really consider them red pill as much as the rest of the guys we name. But I think they do a better job than most of talking about the character portion of things and the self-improvement portion of things. But I love what you're saying about keep failing because I'm 26. I feel like I'm still in that stage where you still gotta fail. You still gotta go hard. You gotta keep trying things. You don't.
Man,
It's better to say I went out there and did it than to never do it at all. Like I'm really big on going by that right now. And
I'm thinking about a career change right now myself.
that's dope, bro. Most people
And
feel that's bad to say. That's not bad at all.
man, I'll say this. If anybody is listening, to anybody that's listening, or this is not even it's not live yet.
Yeah.
If you look up interviews, they interview people who are on their deathbeds. Last regrets or last words of somebody dying. They always say they wish they would have tried something that they didn't do, And so I always keep that in mind because I don't want to hit 60, 70 and be like, man, I should have started that podcast or I should have pursued that career. I mean, life is a marathon. I'm 37 years old. I'll in 13 years, I'll be 50. 13 years, I could try out a world of different things in that time. And then even at 50, I can try out so many things. I can attempt to do so much. So you guys, keep grinding, stay positive, make sure that your content is keep a balance of things that entertain you and things that educate you. And I also want to encourage you to look for people that disagree with you because you might learn something from them. You know what I mean? Be open to different perspectives. And as I am open to different the men in the manosphere who disagree with me, it is very refreshing for men to have a respectful disagreement with communication where we can dap it up and be like, well, we agree to disagree, but and keep it pushing,
Yeah, that's great right there. Thanks for all the gems. Once again, thank you for joining me tonight. Do you want to, before we go, plug in where they could find you, your socials and your channel, let them know where they could find you.
Absolutely. You can find me on YouTube. The channel is the Deadbeat Dad. Um, it's also the Poor Black Man on Instagram. I don't really post much there, but that's just like my backup in case the Manosphere, the goons get my page removed after I drop some of this some of these exposure, some of the stuff. I'm sitting on some stuff, man.
Yo, they're listening. The walls have ears.
I got some stuff that I'm sitting on that I haven't released yet. It might shake some things up, but yeah, you can find me at the Deadbeat Dad, and I'm hoping to to just provide you guys with something of value, just a different perspective. And when I say I think I'm more red pill than they are. I want to dive into that a little bit more on my channel because I think that if I think I think that I think I'm a little more hardcore than they are when it comes to some things. And I'm not just talking about women. So you can find me at the Deadbeat Dad on YouTube or the Poor Black Man on IG. The Poor Black Man at Proton Mail. You can email me, and yeah, that's how you can reach out to me. But I want to say thank you to you for hollering at me and bringing me on your platform. Um, I always say that a successful YouTuber is anybody that has been able to get, I don't care if it's one subscriber or 100 subscribers, you have managed to get people to click and say, do you know everybody that subscribes to you?
No.
Exactly. Like there are people, there's somebody that's out of this country that's rocking with you. You know what I mean? And I think that's a success in itself. It doesn't have to be 100,000 subs. It ain't got to be 500K. The simple fact that people heard you, they liked it, and they clicked that button, and you didn't pay them to do it, and you didn't scam anybody. So I was going to say thank you for bringing me on your platform because it's an honor. It's an honor for me to be here.
Man, I really appreciate that, and I needed to hear that honestly, man. That positive reinforcement,
Absolutely.
affirmation. That's another
Absolutely.
thing I think us men, especially us black men, could do more of, man. Not look at the clout and the things that aren't important. But
Right.
thanks a lot, man. Hopefully, we could have more conversations in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to bring me back, man, just hit me up. We'll do it again.
Word. All right, man. You have a great evening.
All right. Same to you, brother. Peace.
Peace.